The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Confederation stretched across 3 kilometers of artificial space, its crystalline walls containing the preserved essence of a dying star. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at its center, her ceremonial uniform catching prismatic reflections from the countless alien dignitaries surrounding her. This was humanity's formal introduction to galactic society, and it wasn't going well. High Chancellor Xithtal, a being composed of living plasma contained within an ornate exoskeleton, loomed over the human delegation. His voice resonated through the chamber's perfect acoustics, each word dripping with barely concealed contempt. And these, he gestured to the holographic display of Earth's fleet, are what you call warships. They lack even basic graviton drives. The assembled representatives of 3,000 civilizations erupted in a cacophony of laughter, clicks, and electromagnetic pulses of amusement. Sarah maintained her diplomatic pose, hands clasped behind her back, face neutral. The massive screens behind her showed Earth's vessels, sleek, angular ships that indeed looked primitive compared to the organic crystal hybrid vessels of the Confederation. No visible weapons, no force field generators, just clean lines and simple propulsion systems. Chancellor, she spoke, her voice clear and unwavering. Humanity believes in efficiency over ostentation. Our ships serve their purpose. A Meridian delegate, their crystalline body shimmering with neural patterns, floated forward. Purpose. Your vessels would shatter against even our civilian shields. Your weapons, chemical propulsion, and kinetic impacts. We mastered those technologies before your species learned to make fire. More laughter rippled through the assembly. Sarah noticed several species recording the exchange, no doubt planning to share this entertainment with their homeworlds. Earth's primitive technology would become the joke of the galaxy. Perhaps a demonstration would be more convincing than words, Sarah suggested, her tone neutral but her eyes sharp. The Confederation prides itself on empirical evidence, after all. Xithtal's plasma form pulsed with bright amusement. You propose a military exercise against our forces. His exoskeleton vibrated with what passed for laughter in his species. Very well, Ambassador. Let us arrange this demonstration. It will serve as an excellent educational opportunity for younger races to witness the proper application of advanced technology. Sarah bowed slightly, the motion precise and controlled. We accept standard engagement protocols. Of course, Xithtal agreed magnanimously, though perhaps we should restrict our forces to older model ships to give your vessels a fighting chance. Sarah's lips curved into the smallest of smiles. Use whatever ships you deem appropriate, Chancellor. We wouldn't want to limit the educational value of this exercise. As the assembly dissolved into excited discussions about the upcoming demonstration, Sarah and her team made their way back to their quarters. Only when they were alone did her aide, Dr. James Morrison, speak. They took the bait, he whispered, his dark eyes gleaming. Hook, line, and sinker. Sarah nodded, finally allowing herself to relax. Humans have always had a gift for playing the fool, James. It served us well throughout our history. She touched her comm unit, encrypting the channel. Command, this is Ambassador Chen. Operation Underdog is a go. Repeat, Operation Underdog is a go. The response came instantly. Acknowledged, Ambassador. Task Force Prometheus is already in position. They never scanned the dark side of their own moon. Sarah looked out the viewport at the massive Confederation fleet arranged in perfect formation around the space station. Thousands of ships, each one a masterpiece of advanced technology, their hulls gleaming with power and pride. In 24 hours, that pride would be their undoing. Humanity has been watching the stars for a long time, she murmured. We learned early on that it's better to be underestimated. The galaxy thinks they're about to teach us a lesson. She turned to James, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Instead, they're about to learn one. In their arrogance, the Confederation had missed the most crucial detail about humanity's ships. They weren't primitive. They were perfect. Perfect in their simplicity, perfect in their efficiency, and perfect in hiding their true nature. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn why humans smiled when others laughed at them. The last message from Earth Command flashed across her secure tablet. Task Force Prometheus confirms quantum fold drives are charged and ready. All ships are synchronized. Operation Underdog commences at your signal. Sarah deleted the message and prepared for the diplomatic dinner where, no doubt, more mockery awaited. Let them laugh, she thought. They won't be laughing tomorrow. Deep within the quantum-shielded command center of Task Force Prometheus, Admiral Helena Drake studied the real-time holographic display of the Confederation fleet. Their ships hung in perfect formation, a testament to their technological superiority. Or so they believed. The dark side of their moon concealed Earth's true fleet, hidden not just by shadow, but by technology the Confederation couldn't even comprehend. Status report on the quantum fold drives, Helena commanded, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays. Dr. Maya Patel, the architect of humanity's quantum fold technology, looked up from her station. All 30 ships are in perfect synchronization, Admiral. The dimensional matrices are stable, and the fold capacity is at optimal levels. She paused, allowing herself a small smile. They still haven't detected our presence. Helena nodded, remembering the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. While the Confederation had watched humanity's apparent struggles with basic spaceflight, Earth's best minds had been working on something revolutionary. The quantum fold drive didn't just move ships through space. It moved them through dimensional planes, allowing them to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Commander Rodriguez, tactical assessment. Helena turned to her strategic officer. Rodriguez gestured at the holographic display, highlighting key points in the Confederation's formation. Their fleet architecture is exactly as our long-range observations suggested. They rely heavily on their shield technology and energy weapons. No point defense systems, minimal close-range capabilities. They've never needed them. He smirked. When you believe you're invincible, you stop watching your back. A sudden alert drew their attention. The Confederation was broadcasting across all frequencies, announcing the upcoming educational demonstration. Their patronizing tone made Helena's jaw tighten. They're positioning their fleet for the exercise, Rodriguez reported. 15 capital ships, 40 support vessels, all latest generation technology. He paused. They're really putting on a show. Of course they are, Helena replied. This is entertainment for them. They want to make an example of us. She turned to Maya. Tell me again about the quantum fold's combat applications. Maya's eyes lit up with scientific enthusiasm. The fold drive allows our ships to exist in a state of quantum superposition. We can be in multiple locations simultaneously until we're observed, essentially Schrödinger's warship. When we engage the drive in combat, our ships can appear to be in one location while actually being in another, or even exist in multiple locations at once until the moment of attack. And their sensors, Helena pressed, cannot detect what they don't know to look for. Maya confirmed. They're searching for graviton emissions, warp signatures, hyperspace distortions, all their known forms of propulsion. The quantum fold operates on principles they haven't discovered yet. Helena studied the tactical display one final time. Ambassador Chen's message had arrived minutes ago. The Confederation was still laughing about humanity's primitive vessels. The demonstration would begin in 6 hours. Send word to all ships, Helena ordered. Final systems check. I want every quantum fold drive operating at peak efficiency. We're not just winning this demonstration. We're rewriting their understanding of what's possible. Throughout the task force, crews performed their final preparations with quiet confidence. Their ships might look simple on the outside, but beneath the unassuming hulls lay technology that would change the balance of power in the galaxy. Lieutenant Sarah Wong, manning the communications array, suddenly straightened. Admiral, incoming transmission from Ambassador Chen. Text only. Maximum encryption. Helena read the message and allowed herself a grim smile. It seems our adversaries have added a wrinkle to tomorrow's demonstration. They're bringing in their ceremonial guard fleet, ships reserved for showing off their technological superiority to primitive races. They'd really want to humiliate us, Rodriguez observed. No, Helena corrected him. They want to ensure the entire galaxy witnesses what they believe will be humanity's greatest embarrassment. She stood, addressing her bridge crew. What they don't realize is that tomorrow will indeed be remembered throughout the galaxy, just not for the reasons they expect. Maya's console chimed softly. Admiral, quantum fold drives are registering perfect synchronization across all ships. The dimensional matrices are stable, and our existence signature is completely masked by the moon's natural quantum fluctuations. Helena nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. Very well. Maintain current status and prepare for Phase 1 of Operation Underdog. She turned to her crew, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. Tomorrow, we don't just prove them wrong. We show them that true advancement comes from innovation, not arrogance. They think they're staging a demonstration. Instead, they're about to witness a revolution. As the hours counted down, Task Force Prometheus waited in perfect silence, their ships appearing simple and primitive to any observer who might catch a glimpse. But appearances, as the Confederation was about to learn, could be quantum mechanically deceiving. The demonstration arena sprawled across a vast section of neutral space, its boundaries marked by automated beacons. The Confederation's ceremonial fleet arranged itself in a perfect crescent formation, their organic crystal ships pulsing with barely contained energy. Thousands of observation vessels hovered at safe distances, their sensors focused on what they expected to be an amusing display of human inadequacy. Ambassador Chen stood on the bridge of the HMS Archimedes, Earth's apparent flagship. To the watching galaxy, it appeared to be a simple vessel with basic propulsion and minimal armament. The Confederation's combat coordinators had already dismissed it as a non-threat. Final transmission from the Confederation flagship, reported Communications Officer Lisa Chen, no relation to the ambassador. They're asking if we'd like to surrender now to preserve our dignity. Sarah Chen's lips curved into a subtle smile. Inform them that we prefer to proceed with the demonstration. The response came immediately, broadcast across all frequencies for the watching galaxy to hear. High Chancellor Xith-Tol's voice dripped with theatrical magnanimity. Very well. Let this serve as a lesson in the proper hierarchy of galactic civilization. All ships engage at will. The Confederation fleet sprang into action, their ships moving with fluid grace, energy weapons charged, shield harmonics synchronized, and targeting systems locked onto the small human fleet. They're deploying in a theta strike pattern, Tactical reported. Standard overwhelming force doctrine. Sarah nodded calmly. Signal Admiral Drake. Operation Underdog is now active. The first wave of Confederation fire lit up space, a dazzling display of energy weapons and graviton pulses that would have annihilated any conventional fleet. The human ships made no attempt to evade. The energy barrage passed through empty space. Confusion rippled through the Confederation fleet. Their sensors showed direct hits, but the human ships had simply ceased to exist at the moment of impact. Impossible. Xith-Tol's voice boomed across the command channel. Where are they? Behind you, Sarah whispered, just as Task Force Prometheus materialized in perfect attack formation directly behind the Confederation's ceremonial fleet. The quantum fold drive engaged, and reality itself seemed to stutter. Each human ship existed in multiple states simultaneously, appearing to be in 3 or 4 positions at once. The Confederation's targeting systems, designed to track objects moving through normal spacetime, went into cascade failure. Admiral Drake's voice cut through the chaos. All ships execute pattern Sigma. Demonstrate our capabilities, but do not destroy. The HMS Archimedes split into 4 quantum states, each version firing precisely calibrated kinetic rounds. The simple projectiles passed straight through the Confederation's advanced shields, not because of overwhelming force, but because they existed in a quantum state that the shields couldn't detect or deflect. More human ships emerged from quantum superposition, their positions impossible to predict or track. The Confederation fleet's sophisticated combat AI systems crashed, unable to process targets that violated their fundamental understanding of physics. This is not possible. Sith Tull's voice had lost its condescension, replaced by something close to fear. Your ships were primitive. We saw them. You saw what we wanted you to see, Sarah replied calmly. Humanity learned long ago that true advancement lies not in showing off our capabilities, but in understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. Task Force Prometheus continued its dance through quantum states, systematically disabling the Confederation's flagship weapons and propulsion systems. Not with overwhelming force or advanced energy weapons, but with precise strikes that seemed to ignore the laws of physics themselves. In the observation vessels, representatives from thousands of worlds watched in stunned silence as humanity's primitive fleet reduced the Confederation's most advanced ships to drifting hulks. No shields were depleted, no hulls were breached. The human attacks simply bypassed all defensive systems, as if they didn't exist. Maya's voice came through on a secure channel. Quantum fold drives operating at optimal efficiency. We can maintain this demonstration for another 3 hours if needed. Sarah glanced at the tactical display, where the once proud Confederation fleet was now in complete disarray. I don't think that will be necessary, Doctor. I believe we've made our point. On the main command channel, Sith Tull's voice had lost all trace of its former arrogance. How? What is this technology? This, Sarah replied, is humanity's contribution to galactic civilization. We call it the quantum fold drive. While you were perfecting your energy weapons and shield harmonics, we were learning to manipulate the fabric of reality itself. The human ships synchronized their quantum states, resolving into a single formation that surrounded the disabled Confederation fleet. The message was clear. The demonstration could have been a slaughter. Your ships, one of the Confederation's science officers broke in, their voice trembling with excitement and fear. They're operating on principles we've never even theorized. The power requirements alone should be impossible. Sarah finished for them. Perhaps it's time for the Confederation to reconsider its definition of possible. Admiral Drake's voice came through, calm and measured. This demonstration is concluded. We trust our point has been made regarding humanity's readiness to join galactic civilization as equals. The observation vessels erupted in a chaos of transmissions as thousands of species tried to process what they'd just witnessed. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted in a single demonstration, not through violence or destruction, but through the revelation of technology so advanced it appeared to break reality itself. Sarah turned to her bridge crew, allowing herself a full smile for the first time since the demonstration began. Send word to Earth. Operation Underdog was a complete success. The galaxy now knows exactly what humanity is capable of. In the silence of space, the quantum fold drives hummed with power, ready to shift their ships through dimensional states at a moment's notice. Humanity had kept its greatest technological achievement hidden not out of fear, but because they understood a truth the Confederation had forgotten. True power lies not in what you show, but in what you keep in reserve. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Confederation had never been so quiet. Where once there had been laughter and mockery, now there was only tense silence as representatives from thousands of worlds struggled to process what they had witnessed. The holographic displays still showed the aftermath of the demonstration. The proud Confederation ceremonial fleet reduced to powerless hulks by technology that shouldn't have been possible. High Chancellor Sith Tull's plasma form swirled with agitated patterns as he faced Ambassador Sarah Chen. The human diplomat stood calmly at the center of the hall, just as she had days before when they had laughed at Earth's primitive ships. You deceived us, Sith Tull accused, his voice lacking its former imperious tone. We protected ourselves, Sarah corrected. The Confederation's history of dealing with primitive species is well documented. We simply ensured we wouldn't become another cautionary tale. The Meridian delegate who had mocked Earth's ships now floated forward, their crystalline form displaying patterns of intense curiosity. The quantum fold technology. It violates everything we thought we knew about physics. Our greatest minds never even conceived of such possibilities. Perhaps, Sarah suggested, that was the problem. Your greatest minds never needed to look beyond what already worked. Humanity had to innovate because we couldn't rely on established technologies. The assembly erupted in overlapping conversations as representatives debated the implications. Some species were already transmitting requests for technological exchange programs. Others were hurriedly recalculating their diplomatic stances toward Earth. Admiral Drake, now standing beside Sarah, watched the chaos with measured satisfaction. "They're finally asking the right questions," she observed quietly. A delegation from the Arxer Collective, a species known for their scientific achievements, approached with obvious excitement. The energy requirements for quantum state manipulation on that scale should be astronomical. Their lead scientist burst out. "How did you solve the power problem?" Sarah smiled diplomatically. That would be one of many topics open for discussion, once Earth's position in the Confederation is properly established. High Chancellor Xithtul's plasma form stabilized into a more formal pattern. "You understand this demonstration changes everything. The balance of power remains exactly as it has always been," Sarah interrupted firmly. "Earth has possessed this capability for decades. The only thing that has changed is your awareness of it." In the observation galleries, representatives from younger spacefaring races watched with intense interest. Species that had been considering accepting Confederation protectorate status were now reassessing their options. "We propose," Sarah continued, "a restructuring of the Confederation's technological exchange protocols. No more artificial hierarchies based on perceived advancement. Every species has something to contribute. And if we refuse," one of the conservative council members challenged. Admiral Drake stepped forward. "Then humanity will be happy to establish independent exchange programs with any interested species." She paused meaningfully. "And based on the communications we've received in the last hour, that would be most of them." The implications hung in the air. The Confederation's technological monopoly, the foundation of its political power, had been shattered. They could either adapt to the new reality or watch their influence crumble. Xithtul's form pulsed with resigned acceptance. "The Council will need to deliberate on the specific terms." "Of course," Sarah agreed. "Though I should mention that the ships you saw in the demonstration represent only a fraction of our quantum fold capabilities. The technology has many applications beyond military use." The assembly hall erupted again as representatives processed this new information. The idea that humanity had revealed only a portion of their capabilities sent ripples of speculation through the gathered species. Dr. Maya Patel, who had been quietly observing, leaned close to Admiral Drake. "They still don't understand, do they? They think the quantum fold drive is our greatest achievement." Drake smiled slightly. "Let them think that. They're not ready to learn about the dimensional phase reactor or the consciousness transfer protocols." In the center of the hall, diplomatic aides were already setting up secure channels for preliminary negotiations. The Confederation's bureaucratic machinery, after centuries of rigid hierarchy, was being forced to adapt to a new paradigm. Sarah watched the proceedings with careful attention. Everything was proceeding as Earth's strategic analysts had predicted. The Confederation's power structure was too rigid to adapt quickly, but too practical to risk losing access to revolutionary technology. Ambassador, one of the younger race representatives, approached hesitantly. "Will Earth be accepting diplomatic missions from non-Confederation worlds?" "Of course," Sarah replied warmly. "Earth believes in open diplomatic exchange. After all," she added with a subtle glance at Xithtul, "you never know where the next revolutionary idea might come from." The message was clear. Humanity hadn't just demonstrated technological superiority. They had shattered the very foundation of how the galaxy understood advancement. The age of rigid hierarchies and technological hoarding was over. As the assembly continued its chaotic reorganization, Sarah sent a secure message to Earth. Phase 4 complete. The galaxy is ready for introduction to the United Earth Sciences Division. Recommend proceeding with Operation Renaissance. The response came back immediately. Acknowledged. Quantum fold network activation authorized. Let's show them what partnership really means. The future of galactic civilization was about to change again. And this time, humanity would help shape it openly. 1 month after the demonstration, Earth hosted the first Galactic Scientific Exchange Summit. The venue was the newly constructed Quantum Nexus Center, floating in geosynchronous orbit above Geneva. Representatives from over 2,000 species filled the conference halls, their diversity reflecting a fundamental change in how the galaxy approached technological advancement. Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's chief ambassador to the reformed Confederation, stood at the central podium. Behind her, a massive window offered a view of Earth, its surface dotted with the crystalline structures of quantum fold terminals, the first nodes of a new galactic transportation network. The quantum fold drive was never meant to be a weapon. She addressed the assembled delegates. It was humanity's answer to a simple question: how do we bring a vast galaxy closer together? Dr. Maya Patil activated the main holographic display, showing the proposed network of quantum fold terminals stretching across the galaxy. When fully operational, this network will allow near-instantaneous travel between any connected points. Distance will no longer be a barrier to cooperation and exchange. In the audience, former High Chancellor Xithel, now serving as the Confederation's Reform Commissioner, watched with a mixture of humility and fascination. His plasma form had adopted the more subdued patterns that had become common among his species since the demonstration. But the network is just the beginning. Sarah continued. Earth is opening its research facilities to scientists from all worlds. The United Earth Sciences Division believes that true progress comes from collaboration, not competition. Admiral Drake, standing at the back of the hall, smiled as she watched various species that had once been bitter rivals, now engaging in excited technical discussions. The quantum fold demonstration had done more than prove humanity's capabilities. It had shown the galaxy a better way forward. The old Confederation believed in hoarding knowledge. Sarah's voice carried across the hall. Earth believes in sharing it. Every species here has unique insights, different ways of perceiving reality. Together, we can unlock mysteries none of us could solve alone. The Arxer Collective's chief scientist raised an appendage. Is it true that Earth has already developed applications of quantum fold technology beyond transportation and military use? Sarah nodded to Maya, who activated another holographic display. The assembled delegates gasped as they saw quantum fold principles applied to environmental restoration, medical technology, and even communications. This is why we waited to reveal ourselves, Sarah explained. Earth needed to be certain we could offer more than just another way to exercise power. We wanted to offer hope. In the weeks following the demonstration, the galaxy had witnessed a transformation. The rigid hierarchies of the old Confederation had given way to collaborative councils. Species that had been dismissed as primitive were now sharing innovations that the advanced races had never considered. But perhaps most importantly, Sarah continued, we want to address the question many of you have been asking. Why did humanity spend decades hiding its true capabilities? The hall fell silent. This was the mystery that had puzzled the galaxy since the demonstration. We hid our capabilities because we were watching, learning, not just about your technology, but about how you wielded it. The old Confederation used advancement as a means of control. Earth believes technology should be a tool for upliftment, for all species. Maya stepped forward, her expression serious. The quantum fold drive teaches us something profound. Reality is more complex than we imagine. No single species, no matter how advanced, has all the answers. But together, we can ask better questions. As if to emphasize her point, the quantum fold network activated for the first time. Across the galaxy, terminals hummed to life, creating a web of instantaneous connections between worlds that had once been years apart. This is humanity's true contribution to galactic civilization, Sarah declared. Not the technology itself, but a new way of thinking about progress. Every species in this hall has something unique to offer. Every perspective adds to our understanding. The assembly erupted in applause, a cacophony of sounds from thousands of different species, united in hope for the future. Later, in her private office overlooking Earth, Sarah met with Admiral Drake and Maya. The holographic displays showed the quantum fold network growing stronger as more terminals came online. They're still trying to reverse engineer the quantum fold drive, Maya noted with amusement. Let them try, Drake replied. By the time they figure it out, we'll be ready to share the dimensional phase technology. Keep them humble. Sarah watched Earth rotating below, its surface now dotted with the crystalline structures that marked it as the heart of a new galactic era. You know what the best part is, she mused. They never asked why we didn't use the quantum fold technology to simply conquer them. Because they finally understand, Maya smiled. True power isn't about control. It's about lifting others up. As if in response, another quantum fold terminal activated in a distant sector, its signal joining the growing network of cooperation and exchange. The galaxy was entering a new age, and humanity had helped light the way. Not through force, not through fear, but through the simple act of showing what was possible when advancement served hope instead of power. The stars themselves seemed brighter, as if acknowledging that the future had changed for the better. Earth had kept its secrets not out of fear, but out of wisdom. And now, those secrets were becoming keys to unlock a better future for all species. The laughter that had once mocked humanity's ships had been transformed into the joy of discovery and collaboration. It was a new dawn for the galaxy, and it was just the beginning.